Welcome to Two Homers and a Realist. I'm your host for the night, Lucas. We're here to talk some OU football. Who else we got with us?
Steve.
Jay.
All right, Connor's missing because he acts like he's got a real job or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what his deal is.
Fake.
He's like, "Oh, I'm in Miami, living it up on South Beach. I can't come talk to OU football this week."
So busy. Oh, it's
Yeah.
so tough.
What are we talk about tonight, fellas?
Well, I bet, and in fact, if you win, I'll Venmo you and tell you the amount that you've won and exactly what you win. But I bet we talk about some OU football
Are we
tonight.
gonna put sports gambling on there?
I put sports gambling
Poker, maybe?
in the
In the description?
subject description, and I'd make that public.
Yeah, maybe UCLA versus USC.
What in the hell? What's with the kids these days?
They don't
Honestly.
understand what private and public seems.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know
Crazy.
either. Was anybody honestly worried about that though?
100%. This is the NCAA.
I was only worried about it because it would be the most Oklahoma thing ever for our season to start off.
Oh my!
I did have flashbacks to that.
2006.
And the way that our
Yeah.
compliance office works and our
Oh, yeah.
university is so
Oh,
scared. They're
back
like,
in the day,
we're gonna sit in a
Yeah.
chair for the first
As
game
we
in,
have
in
our
half
own
of Michigan.
investigation.
In half of Michigan. It really means something to be.
Michigan's not holding out their head coach for the Oklahoma game. They're waiting until later.
that's right.
Oh, yeah.
So we could be like, "Oh, Mateer's
Yeah.
sitting out Kent
Kent
State."
State.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
We wouldn't
That's
do
even.
that though.
No,
That's even.
definitely.
No, we
We
would
have too much
never.
integrity.
We're higher brow than that. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm glad that it looks like that's just going to die on the vine. We're a long way from something that was in a Venmo account to an investigation and something that's provable. I mean,
Heather Dinich is deep on the trail, though.
she's
I
an
can
idiot.
tell you
I
right
mean,
now.
OU said there was never any evidence there was an NCAA investigation involved.
Right.
Because that was just a BS tweet somebody sent out.
Well, beyond that, the
I think
guys
it was
in
at
Iowa and
three
Iowa
specific-
State who got in trouble by actual law enforcement.
Yeah.
There's no law enforcement involved in this situation
No
from
Venmo
3
police?
years ago. Huh?
There's no Venmo police?
There's no Venmo police.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they called off the Venmo police. They're busy protecting DC.
Yeah.
Well, there's that. Let's put that issue aside. We're right now deep into fall camp. It sounds like things are going really good. There's Kool-Aid being served all around. I don't know. It's hard not to drink a lot of it up and get pretty excited. Beedenbow came out with an interview this week, and he was about as talkative and cheery
Yeah.
as I've ever seen the man.
Never heard that many words in my life.
And all positive, and I don't know.
Positive tonight.
Can we believe it?
Is positive even the word?
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
he talked about, he played it down saying we've had some pretty good players come through here, or I've coached some
Yeah.
pretty good
I
players.
didn't think they were that
All
good when they went to
pro.
Joe Moore.
Yeah, all pro NFL football players.
Right.
And he is saying that Pasusi and Thojay are ahead of any player he's ever had on the offensive line. That's a massive statement.
Now he can say that though relative. He could say I'm saying that relative to where they are
Incoming freshman.
as an incoming threat.
Right now, yes.
But still, that's saying
still,
something.
yes, that's still
Yeah.
big time.
That's really big time.
Because he said he followed that up with Creed, who we all know is just an incredible football player, was maybe the only offensive lineman he's coached that could have gone pro after 2 seasons, right? And even Creed, in his eyes, wasn't good enough to start. Was it Eric Wren?
He said he thinks
Right,
all the
Eric-
linemen should stay 4 years.
No, I'm saying Eric Wren started ahead of Creed.
Yeah.
Right.
And then
That's
something
right.
happened to Wren, all of it, injury or
Injury.
what,
Yeah.
and then Creed took over.
Sophomore year, I think.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's incredibly high praise. Incredibly high praise.
And it doesn't seem like it's coming from a
And then-
guy who dishes high
And
praise.
there's no
out.
reason for him to do it.
In fact,
It's
to tell
actually
you the truth, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Yes, it's setting that you want to sandbag. You want to say, you know what, we're young, we're very talented, but we got a lot of learning to do. These guys have a
And
long
he
way
did
to
still
come.
say that.
But
But I think he would say
that's
that.
lost in everything
I think
else.
he would say that about a fourth year tackle getting ready for the NFL draft. Like,
Right.
he's still got more to do and things
Right.
he can work on, and
Yeah.
it's coach talk for whatever it is.
Yeah,
But-
it's a weird optimism that you're seeing percolate out of basically every channel.
How do you feel about? There's so much on the line for the season. Everybody knows this.
Everything.
Every
Jobs are on
understand
the
it.
line, futures
Do-
on the line.
How do you balance getting the better player or the higher ceiling player? Just go ahead and get him in. Just get him in there. They're going to take their lumps. There's going to be issues. There's going to be great moments,
So
bad
we
moments.
talked about this last year,
and
and they didn't do it.
right. So,
We talked about
but can you afford that right now? Or do you take, just as an example, does Sexton start simply because Michigan's game 2? And you know
yes,
an idea of
Yes.
what you've got.
yes.
Even though Fasusi could easily supplant him if given the chance, talent-wise, 4 games into the season.
Here's the game plan. It's just like Adrian Peterson in 2004. You go with known quantities, you build something safe,
Better than Q1.
and you try to
They knew he was better than Q1.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
But you try to, and I'm not saying this is all the motivation back in the Peterson Kiwan situation, but I think what you try to do is you try to build momentum. You really come out against Illinois State and say, look, ideally we get out to a really big lead against this very lesser opponent.
I mean, the
And we
number
could
6 in the
get
FCS.
Everybody else
Yeah.
to play as
Side
much
note.
as we want.
They're a pushover. It's not like the pushover of all pushovers.
Right. No, of course not. Of course not. Good, well point. But you get yourself in a position that you get deep into the rotation. And that way you get to explore a lot of options. I still think Sexton would start against Michigan, but you might look to say, look, if it's not working out, he's here, Pazusi's here to step in and he's had some experience. If not, in the back of their minds or in their coaches' meetings, they're probably saying, hey, by game 4, by game 5, leading into Texas, we're probably looking for Pazusi to be on the field as the starter or very close in that rotation. But we want to give him experience to be able to be there and not set him up for failure. And at the same time, you're not saying it's not a go for broke like last year seemed like it was going to be. And you thought, well, I don't care what's going on. Get the young guys in and let's experiment with them. That's not where we are right now. But you do say, get them in a position where if they're failing, they can learn and it's not going to be devastating. And we can get them by mid-season to be, hey, every job is open. And maybe those jobs get turned over really fast. And your lineup in game, I guess it's Alabama, Tennessee, that lineup could be remarkably different than who you have in against Illinois State. And I'm not just talking about the offensive line. It could be including the defensive line. It definitely could be every position group except for quarterback.
I mean, we're still 16, 17 days away from the opening game. And depending on, they're acting like Fasusi's picking the offense up really well. I mean, it's not crazy to think that in 2.5 weeks' time, they put Sexton out there for a couple drives. And yeah, he manhandles Illinois State because they're not that big or strong or whatever. And then they put Fasusi out there and he goes 3 or 4 drives in a row looking incredible.
It really could.
Knows all the offense, knows where he needs to be doing, doesn't have any big blow up mistakes that causes the quarterback to get sacked. And then the next week in practice is huge. And whichever one of those 2 guys performs better in practice with the calls and with all that, maybe Fasusi start Michigan. Who knows?
It could be. But at the same point,
I don't foresee that happening. But
I agree.
But I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibility.
And at the same time, we act like Sexton is just so dependable that we don't have to worry about him. They probably are looking at it saying, we want Sexton to be confident in where he is. So we ideally like to have 2 players in that position because coming to Michigan against a very good defensive line, we don't know who's going to actually be able to make it happen when the rubber hits the road.
Yeah.
We need both of them able to play.
I think the hard part with the Michigan game is just the fact that it's the Michigan game. If you just lined up the players nonchalantly on a Tuesday
with no uniform,
you're picking up, you're taking Fasusi to cover this Michigan guy.
Right.
But lights on, fans in the stands, it's just a different animal for whatever reason.
And it works a lot better that it's at home than if it were on the road.
Absolutely.
You'd worry a lot.
It does suck at his game 2. I mean, at least it's not Texas traveling to Ohio State game 1 situation. At least we've got a home warm up, and then the next big game, the Michigan game, is at home.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it would be nice if it was the 4th game.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously.
Okay, what do you guys think about this? So, the only constant through camp so far, in terms of there hasn't really been a position battle, is right guard with Betchy Wayway. And I think guards are pretty interchangeable, a little bit easier than tackles.
As far as left and right
right,
guards,
left and
yeah.
right. Okay, if you're gonna start a Pasusi, right? And EPL, who is still young and learning, is sort of taking that left guard spot right now. I don't know that you can put an EPL and a Fasusi
Next
on the
to each
blind
other.
side for your quarterback. Michigan game 2, right? So what if you've got in the way Foje's played, right? He's playing right guard mostly. You can afford to put Fabechi at tackle if Fabechi moves to left guard. And you've got
Fasusi at tackle. If
Fasusi
you
at left
move-
tackle.
Yeah, but you said
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Fasusi
Yeah, I
at
know
left
you mean
tackle.
we would
Fa-
on left guard.
From right guard.
Right.
You got Everett, who's experienced player, and then your right guard could be Foje, because Simmons, who is projected at right tackle, is like a 4th-year guy.
Right. Very dependable.
So then you've got experienced seniors that can talk to the freshmen.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like, what could be more devastating than having a true freshman left tackle? I don't know if he's a redshirt freshman or a true sophomore left guard in EPL.
Did he play 4 games?
I'm not sure, but to
Yeah.
get your quarterback murdered on one play, just one play.
Just one play is all it takes.
Things.
Yeah, they both missed their assignment.
7 out of
Yeah.
68 plays are great. That 68 play gets Mateer murdered.
Yeah.
Right. So that's interesting on what Beanbo's going to have to do. And luckily, even though we've all bashed him at different times, I don't know if we've bashed him as much as like,
Question.
he's got to get it going quicker, right?
Mhm.
And I think they've realized that. I think Nagy has realized that. Like, pick your guys, get them where you're going, make your decision, let them gel.
Yeah.
If you have to change it later, fine.
We don't have 4 or 5
No,
relatively easy games to ease into this thing.
No.
We have to hit the ground running.
if Michigan was, even Michigan State, not even just Michigan,
Right.
If it was just somebody else,
Minnesota.
fine,
Mhm.
fine. You've got till Auburn to find your
Right.
5. They've got to find their 5, like,
Right.
the end of this week. They
Yeah.
need all of next week to have
be-
their 5.
Yes,
And go.
to gel,
Yes.
to be running the simulation where that defensive line can really test them. And then you can turn them loose to say, do these things, do these twists, do this
Which is
stunt
great
that's
because
gonna give them trouble.
if they're blocking our line
Exactly.
80% of the time,
That's incredible.
probably good for 95% of the season,
Oh, absolutely.
right?
Absolutely it
That's
is.
a lot of percentages you're putting out there.
It is.
Well,
Look
all
what
the
numbers
percents.
Sound like
We-
Dean Blevins.
We use all the
Here, but
percents. Yeah.
percentages.
Yeah. Can
No,
you
but
write
se-
those down on a whiteboard?
Yes, but seriously though, right? Like, if nationally, locally, people talk about how good our defensive line is,
It's
maybe the best in the country, maybe the best in the SEC, possibly top 5 in the country.
right.
If your offensive line can handle that most of the time, you should be pretty good to go
Yes.
for games.
For sure. You know, a lot of it with a true freshman in particular is the consistency. And that even includes Illinois State. You talk about 67 out of
Yeah,
68
Illinois State
against,
can hurt Mateer.
against Michigan. It could be Illinois State.
Yeah.
It could be some ridiculous little player who on a weird stunt comes through clean and puts a hit on a guy that devastates our season.
Which is why I would think Sexton starts.
Yeah, guys, got no faith in Michael Hawkins, sounds like.
I do, but
Well,
you
we're
know,
only
let's
gonna
see
be
it.
11-1 with Hawkins.
Yeah.
We're 12-0 with Mateer.
No, but really, you probably have to hope in a weird way the lower ceiling guy gets the start early so
Yeah.
that the
Yes.
higher ceiling guy can
Yeah.
can
And that you
win it,
don't
can
put-
win the
Can
job.
win the job, there's something that comes with won the job, right? And it versus got awarded the job. It's one thing to think I can handle it. It's a different to actually earn it. It just is true in life. It's true in so many things. When you earn it and you get there and you realize you don't take it for granted, you don't act like you're entitled to it. I think that's a big deal. And so if he can get there and earn the job, even if earning it just means game 2, but especially if it means getting into the rotation and then all of a sudden by game 4, game 5, he's the man. That's a world of difference for him.
In a rare interview of a young player, I don't remember if it was Fasusi or Foje, I think it was Fasusi, but he said after practice, yeah, I'm pretty sure Fasusi, he said that me and Foje, we go back to our room, to our dorms or wherever they stay, and we watch hours and hours of film together at night.
That's awesome.
And these are dogs. Like
Yeah.
these are guys that everybody wanted across the country.
18-year-old.
And they've got a bunch of money
Yep.
in their hands.
Yep.
And they're sitting back in their room watching film.
Well, that tells you how serious they are about it.
I
that
think
it's
both want it.
it's
They
their-
want on the field.
their craft. They know it's going to be their profession. They're not taking it entitled. They're taking it like they got to earn it. They know what it takes to get to a higher level just in performance at the University of Oklahoma in a freshman year, a sophomore year, et cetera, but also to get to the next level going forward, which is what you always worry about with a 5-star guy, that he just thinks, all right, I could just go to the NFL tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, if I had $1 million at 18,
It'd be
it'd
hard
be a whole
to
different podcast.
But if you remember back to the Lincoln Riley days in the quarterback room and the stories there where those guys were challenging each other, and you've got Kyler and Baker in the same room and they're watching film and they're doing all of that. That's the difference.
And in hindsight, you had Rattler, who kind of folded under the Caleb pressure.
You're right.
Which Caleb is that guy that was like,
Yeah.
I'm taking this job, dude.
Right.
Like,
He
And
had,
when he-
he had his head set on NFL
Yeah.
the moment he stepped on
Oh, yeah.
campus.
the
Rattler
moment he
did.
picked Lincoln
Oh, no.
Riley, Caleb, the moment he
Right.
picked Lincoln Riley, he was like, I don't care who you've got.
Yeah.
Right.
on this.
Well,
I was coming here to take that job.
But I'm
No,
saying he
James,
wasn't
it's-
entitled. He
No,
didn't
exactly.
play entitled.
Right.
Yeah, he played to earn it.
Yeah, Foden and
Rattler
Fasusi.
played entitled. Rattler had to learn how to play where to earn it, and Caleb, if anything, kind of twisted into entitled
I
when
mean,
he
if you
went
think
to
of
USC.
Baker came in to take Trevor Knight's job too.
Yeah, and he did.
Yeah, and he did.
And Kyler came in, I think, to prove himself against the legacy of Baker, which is healthy as well. And he was in the same room with him. So, and that's rare. That's really rare that a guy can step in and do what Kyler does. That's not respected enough to say what he did. And he stepped onto the field and was able to prove himself the way he was.
And how hard was it for Kyler to come in and not take that kid's job, not take Baker's job?
Or when he didn't, not to check out.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Well,
saying.
yeah.
I worry that if nowadays with the transfer portal the way it is, when Kyler transferred from A&M to here,
Would he have transferred out?
if when Baker got the clearance to come back for the final season,
Right. Would
from
that have been
NCAA
it for
because
Oh,
of the
Kyler?
tech
Caleb
stuff,
been gone.
Kyler would have definitely. I mean,
Was
I
the
guess it
transfer rule in place then, though? Could he
No,
have done
that
it?
was still the 1 year.
no.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it? Okay.
So Kyler stayed an extra year on the bench behind Baker
And didn't
after he got the news that he
didn't
got
go
the extra season.
didn't go to MLB.
And yeah,
And
and
didn't
didn't
go
go
to
to baseball.
MLB. Now, that also
Which cost
speaks
Steve
to
a
the
pretty
fact
penny.
that, it's right, it did. That also speaks to that he had a lot of foresight and knew, I want to be with this team, I want to be with this coach, and I want to be in football. I don't want to be in baseball.
I
I
think
think a lot of it was his dad too. His dad knew the best thing for you to do is to stay at Oklahoma and play for this coach.
Yeah.
Because look what he's done with this walk on.
Yeah.
You have, I mean, Kyler has more talent than Baker. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
he
Raw
probably, he maybe doesn't have the moxie that Baker has, but raw talent and ability, Kyler had it better than Baker. And he knew that he was going to sit behind him for another full season, but had the mentality to be like, okay, I'm going to suck it up.
And-
Anything can happen. Baker could get hurt at any moment, and I'm the guy. And if not, Baker plays really well. He ends up winning the Heisman. And then Kyler's like, all right, now it's my turn. And he had 2 years left. And then he gets drafted and said, nope, I'm going to go play football because that's my future. And then he came in and he has an amazing season, wins the Heisman too.
So that is interesting because I think you're right. A lot of accolades need to go to the father, and that's usually the opposite of what happens when you've got a father or an uncle or a family member who's guiding you. They're usually giving you bad advice, but
Yeah.
he probably gave him really good advice. I think you're right.
And I think we've kind of come full circle transfer portal stuff. Like it was so wild west when it started, right? There were, and I'm not saying it's going to slow down with how many people enter, but I think teams,
It's settling.
yeah, it's settling. Teams have, it's a combination. Players have figured out it's not always greener on the other side. And B, teams have figured it's better to keep this guy that you know what he is and what you've got than this unknown amenity over
Yeah.
here. Even though he might be real shiny, it's not,
Yeah.
you don't really know. And so it's slowed down a little bit, which for a school like the Oklahoma is probably super beneficial.
Absolutely. And that's, I think, well, and some of this is beggars can be choosers. A school like Oklahoma can do a better job of evaluating a kid's personality and surrounding cast and everything and saying, this is a guy who's going to stick through and understand the bigger vision of what's happening versus a kid who's going to be just chasing a dollar or chasing the limelight and thinks that it's 1 year and then I'm in the NFL.
Which is not to change subject, but recruiting wise, right?
Yeah. Oh, no.
We-
Yeah. Go
We
to
are
that.
not where, excuse me, the fans expect us to be in recruiting.
For
Right.
26.
For 26,
Okay,
for
for 2020.
26, 27, whatever. Yeah.
And we've
It's
said it,
26.
we've said it many times. We're gonna have, it's gonna be a several year process to figure out if the way we're doing it is the way to do it. So you kind of have to have faith in it, but Gross, who's a 4-star wide receiver that we just led for and led for and led for and led for. And literally an hour before his announcement 2 days ago, his dad's like, we're under negotiations. Basically down to OU in Florida. And he ends up picking Florida. And you have to believe that we've set a standard for a position for a freshman player coming out of high school. That this is what we're gonna pay. It might range some,
Right.
and if it's a Calvin Johnson, maybe we break out of the range, or it's an Adrian Peterson, we break out of the range. But D-line, O-line, quarterback, I think OU's all in.
Yeah.
And
That will
everybody
match any offer.
else, I think they're like, we've got
I think you're right.
We've got kids that are maybe not quite as good as you,
Yeah.
but pretty close to you. And they're in our range, and we think we can get them, and we'll be just fine with them.
I like that. I love the
That
approach.
has to be what happened.
I
In
think
my
that's what
opinion,
happened. I think you're exactly right.
Okay.
I think, and I love the approach,
And it
and
was
I
the
think that's
dad.
the right way to do it.
what made me think about it, what you
Oh.
were saying is dad. I think that's a dad who, right or wrong, I'm not judging at all.
Oh,
Who
you should judge.
who chose or helped his son choose a direction, right? His path. And I think they just took more money.
Well, and
Honestly, I just think they took more money.
both can be right. They honestly, the father, the son, they can be right about what they're choosing because they might know in their heart of hearts, and they're both calculating risk, but also just looking at it and saying, you know what, bird in hand versus
But see, a lot
the
of people talk about OU's having a hard time right now because the negative recruiting. Your staff's not going to be
Right,
there.
right.
How's this year going to be? Well, in this instance with Gross, Florida's not.
Florida's in the same
Florida's
boat.
the exact same boat.
Yeah.
So
ain't that.
there's not some Billy Napier.
It ain't that.
He's safe
Mm-mm.
system.
It
Okay,
ain't that.
they have somehow a harder schedule.
Yeah, and they
than we
had
do.
the hardest schedule in the country.
Right.
Number two.
So
Yeah.
it's not like they're in any better boat. If you
No.
had told me that this kid was picking between us and Ryan Day at Ohio State, but
Right.
okay,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
or the native recruiting, we might Venables isn't going to be here. Ohio State is, of course. All right, whatever.
Mhm.
But with those two, that's apples to apples.
Yeah.
And he just went with one that he wasn't the lead on for all these
Well,
months.
and to be honest, if you look back at the last decade or 20 years or whatever, what span do you want to use? OU is ahead of Florida. They really honestly are. Aside from,
Defensively, maybe not. But
well, defensively not,
Yeah.
right, but OU is ahead of Florida in performance overall. And so you're looking at two different programs, and a program that is, vacillated in and out of where they really want to be, should be, versus a program that has sputtered only in the last couple of years in Oklahoma. So, yeah, I think it's one of those things where Florida's in a more desperate situation, and they're probably going to have to pay up, and they probably have the financial capital to do it. But I think OU's got a better game plan of thinking, this is what it's worth. We're going to do the evaluation. Here's the offer, take it or leave it. In any negotiation, you've got to know your walkaway price, and OU seems to know their walkaway price, and I like it.
And also with how everything is going nowadays, the kids committing in August signing day is not till December. If OU ends up going 9-3, maybe 10-2, and Florida struggles with a 7-5, and Napier's out, well, OU's
Flips
still there
everything.
and be like, hey, what are you thinking now? We're still not coming up to that price that Florida's going to pay you, but we're still looking at this.
Well, they might
What do
not
you think
be
about
coming
coming
up to that
Right.
price.
Well,
With their turnover and everything that might happen, it might be just a reset. And you say that staff isn't together, this staff is together.
Oh, yeah.
This is still
It's-
here.
It's
It's all
never been more,
Very fluid.
never been more important to be number two in
Right.
recruit.
Right.
No.
Right.
Back in the day, number two was probably the worst feeling possible, right? For every coach.
Now
it's
you're
like,
still in the hunt.
sweet, we're still
Yeah.
number two.
You actually would rather be number two across the board,
Awesome.
have a great season,
Yeah.
and then make your choices
Yes.
and renegotiate everything.
And we're not even talking just next year. This
Right.
could be 3 years from now.
Mm-hmm. That's a great
I
point.
mean, it's wild how much it's changed in that regard. Like,
yeah, that
It-
kid can still go there. And Napier, say they go 7-5, Napier gets fired. New coach comes in, that kid still goes there, gets his freshman year money, doesn't really do a whole lot, but still has potential. And then OU goes 8-4 this year, 9-3 this year, and then next year, oh shit, we're 10-2. Then that kid's like, my second choice is even better than
Yeah.
where I ended up. I'm just gonna go move over
And
there.
OU's in a position to not only be looking at him and all the other newly minted freshman incoming recruits, but also all the other transfers.
Yeah.
And so you put yourself in a position to, again, be in a leading negotiating position for sure, among others that are in a leading position. The difference for a team that's 9-3, 10-2 versus a national champion with a lot of people coming back, or somebody that was deep into the playoffs, is those teams might be returning so many people, they don't have a lot of slots. They're desperately trying to hold on to their guys. Whereas we might be saying we can turn over and we can bring in 10 new people.
it's fascinating for our sport that we love to be in a position where the Georgias, the Alabamas, the Ohio States of the world, their coaches are openly talking about our two deep just isn't what we're used to, right? It's just they're still having a hard time
Yeah.
grasping the fact that we don't have every single player from our region in our 3 and 4 deep,
Yeah.
right? And they're all not
locked up,
staying year
where
after
they-
year after year.
where if they want to transfer, it's a wait a year, figure things out.
Yeah.
It is a fluid situation.
I mean, and we've
highly
really stolen
competitive.
people on signing day
right.
that, like, Cass Everett posts he's going to Texas Tech, and by the end of that, in that morning, and then by the end of that day, he's at OU,
Well, Bowen.
and then
Bowen.
Bowen
Bowen.
going to Oregon. Oh, my paperwork didn't get sent through. I think I'm going to OU. How does that work? It's not like it's out of the realm of possibility that any of these people that are committing now can change their mind on signing day.
And I like not
Between morning and
necessarily
afternoon, apparently.
not necessarily the what I don't know if it's the old approach of Brent Venables or it's still the approach of we're not going to give you an offer until you're ready to commit solely to us, but the slow and deliberate versus the USC, who is trying to go out and just, hey, do you want to commit to us? Great, committed to us. And we've got 27 recruits, I think it is now, and I don't know, 8 5-stars. And honestly, if you're a USC fan, you can't feel confident
No,
in any of that.
Well, we live that.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, again and
it's
again and
gonna
again.
fall.
And that's before the world we live in today, where they can just change
Yeah.
like that.
Or you can get 3 5-star receivers that come in and none of them pan out. Really.
None of them pan out. Exactly. And that's the
I
other
mean,
thing.
Hazelwood's gone from Arkansas. Is he playing in the NFL?
No,
Is he even on a
I
squad?
don't think
I don't think he's on a squad.
Theo
we still be on the
Theo
roster.
Weiss is on a roster, I think.
Yeah, and he stuck around. an
Trajan
extra
Bridges,
year.
we all know how that happened.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, we thought he might even possibly come back
Come
to us
back
this
to
year.
us,
I don't
yeah.
know where
I didn't
he
think
end
that.
up.
I don't think he.
I don't think he ended
I never saw that he ended up
I bet he ended up somewhere.
probably
Well,
because he went to JUCO, right?
It's still crazy
That's
to have a 5-star quarterback, 3 5-star wide receivers, and all 4 never finish at OU.
absolutely.
It's insane.
Well, that's what you're talking about, though, speaks to in that fluidity of it is you want to have the Nagy process, is what I'm going to call it, of no, we're going to live in reality. We're not going to just get enamored by stars. We're going to figure out who is the right fit at the right price. We're going to plug a lot of guys in and see what happens and see what shakes out. We're not going to throw the bag at this guy. And that's an all or nothing bet, and it has to work. And we were doing all or nothing bets under Riley before all of this stuff started, and those all or nothing bets didn't work then. They really are risky today.
Yeah.
And an interesting Nagy process that you talked about was, most of the local media and prognosticators, et cetera, really felt like we needed to go get a defensive back out of the portal.
Right.
And we thought it was coming. We talked to a few guys. Maybe this guy, maybe this guy. We ended up getting none. And people were very concerned about the cornerback position coming into the season. And from early reports, not only is that not a worry, it's like who's going to start?
Yeah. It's an area
it's
of
not a worry who's going to start. It is like
it's a
to do with all these guys that are balling out right now.
yeah, it's riches everywhere.
I'm not buying that on the cornerback position.
So you're not buying cornerback because
So you think if we have 7, we have none?
worry of what?
Because right now there's 7 guys that are rotating in and out of first term, and they're all making plays. Like it's like we're not
in a position on a group that we know is one of the most competitive in the nation in terms of the coaching overlook, right? This is the best among the best in the nation at evaluating that group, and they're going to be as critical as anybody, and they're seeing it this way. It's not like
I mean, nagging them literally just for like we're not
7
going
years ago with OUD.
We don't need anybody. Like we've evaluated.
What do
We've
you
seen
think?
these guys. We're not going to go out and get
I mean, at that position, I don't think we have an embarrassment of riches at corner. I think we saw it last year. We had Gentry went down, and you got a true freshman starting on one side halfway through the season, and
He's not a true freshman.
Eli
became
Bowen.
an All-American.
Eli Bowen was an
He
All-American.
was freshman All-American.
Well, freshman All-American is different than All-American.
Well, it's an All-American. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a
It's not a scrub.
All-American.
It's not a scrub, and I think Eli did a great job, but he's been missing camp. Gentry, who knows what his health status is from day to day. You hear about Courtland Guillory. Who are some of the other guys we're talking about?
Oh, God, it's Davon Jordan.
I mean, you said 7.
I know.
We just named 4.
They're so good that
They're
we can't
so-
think of
Can't
their
name 'em.
goods. There's
So-
Thomas Lott.
Because we named
There's-
5. We named 5. There's 2 of us.
We named 5.
Well, Eli, and
Eli and Gentry,
Cortland.
Guillory, and then the Davon Jordan you said.
Davon
that's 4.
Jordan. Okay, we named 4. All right, we're missing 3.
Yeah, I don't know who the other 3 are. That you're talking about is amazing. I mean,
It's
Reggie
the
Powers.
fact that
Reggie
you
Powers.
don't know
their-
their,
he's a safety.
their
Reggie
name
Powers
mean
safety.
anything.
Reggie Powers is safety.
Did Powers take the job from Peyton Bowen? Is it RSJ?
I think he started to take
And
the job from
Powers?
Peyton Bowen, and then Peyton Bowen was like, "I think this guy's taking the job from me," and Peyton Bowen showed up this week. Let me put it that way.
Which is awesome. That is old
No.
school.
It's not awesome because
OU
Peyton Bowen
defense.
should have been motivated the entire time.
Ah,
to
come
not
on.
let his
No,
job
no,
get
no,
stolen.
no,
No. He had
That's the fact that you've got a guy that's going to step up and do that.
He had
I'm going to
ankle
say
stuff.
that's amazing.
ankle stuff.
That's the kind of
Did
stuff.
Arch, his Venmo was it ankle stuff that he said?
No, it was different kind of stuff.
Oh, what was his stuff?
It was butt stuff. I think he paid $30 for butt stuff.
That's what I
Okay?
think I saw on Twitter for the Venmo.
It is what it is.
That's for the paid listeners only. We'll do the paid podcast later.
I don't
So-
know. I think if you're saying now that we have nothing to worry about at cornerback, I think you're vastly overstating.
How worried
what's
could we
going on.
be though, right? Like there's worried back in the day of Mike Stoops and Grinch.
We're not waiting for Parnell Motley.
I mean, I'm not feeling
That's all I'm saying.
Right, exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
worried, but
Right. I mean, it's not I would say that we're as deep there. I don't know, as we were probably at any point in Stoops.
I don't know.
I mean, you had
I
guys.
gotta see it to believe it.
I
This
agree.
is all camp talk.
I agree. I
Oh, yeah,
agree.
no, it's definitely Cam talk. But
I'm saying like defensive line, that's not camp talk. I saw Jaden Jackson perform last year. I saw David Stone progress throughout the season well.
Right.
I saw Grayson Halton become a star when he has his chance. Dominic Williams is very steady.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an NFL guy.
Right.
I think when we got him
Oh.
to TCU,
Kendall Dolby.
Yeah, Dolby. Oh my God, how we
Freaking
forget Dolby?
Yeah.
I hope he's not playing corner. I want Kendall Dolby to be the cheetah.
I think Kendall Daniels.
I think
is
Kendall
such a
Daniels-
freak that he's gonna be cheetah.
That's what we're hearing from Cam. I don't see how Dolby moves from
Oh,
cheetah
Jacoby
to
Johnson.
quarter.
Yeah.
Jacoby Johnson
Jacoby
played a lot
Johnson.
last year.
He did
All right,
miss some
there's
time.
one more. We're missing
He
one
got
more.
torched a little bit against Nate,
Some.
Sorting by position, it's C.
but I know no matter what that the defensive line's there. I've seen it in action. I know that the 6 or 7 guys that they've got are really good.
But
corner,
keep in mind,
I've seen
you're
Gentry
saying
be good until he got injured.
the people
I haven't
that
seen anything since.
okay, so you're saying
I've
that
seen
the
Eli
group,
Bowen be
the group that
freshman
people are
All-American.
saying is potentially the best in the nation is your standard. I'm saying that
Yeah, it's
cornerback
Oklahoma.
group is still pretty damn good. They don't have to necessarily be the best in the nation to say we're pretty secure.
I mean, I
corner.
watched LSU light us up at Baton Rouge.
Light us
Second half,
up.
the second half.
For the corners got lit up in the second half.
Could be safeties to the corner.
Injuries. Gentry wasn't there. I mean, come on, come on.
I gotta see Gentry play
Come on.
5 or 6 games before I know that he's
Come
fully
on.
back.
That's always the caveat,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Is Dolby going to be how he was before his leg injury last year? Is Gentry going to be the same guy? Is Jacoby Johnson made a jump? Are the freshmen like
I just think it's a
being
little
this good?
it's a little overly optimistic to say you're totally fine with the corners, right? Like we're solid at corner.
Well, I guess you have to.
I
define
think
what
we're
is
solid at corner.
You
I
can't
think.
say you're solid at corner like you can say you're solid at defensive line.
Oh my God! Yeah, exactly.
And I think we're solid at safety. I think RSJ's gonna be a monster.
We
And
no.
I've got faith in Peyton
We
Bowen.
are
His
solid.
freshman year, he was all over the field.
We are
His
solid at
sophomore
defense.
year,
We're powers.
not
Logan
quite as
Askey.
much.
We're solid at defense, top to bottom.
Yeah.
We are solid at defense.
I think we're purposely nitpicking,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
at corner, I think the weakness, if you want to put quotes on it, is a weakness we would have died to have for the last decade. Is my point.
Absolutely.
You're like, oh, is Gentry going to be good? Is the freshman All-American going to come back from his injury?
I mean, I think
What if
our biggest problem under Lincoln on the defensive side of Grinch was more to do with scheme than personnel.
what if Kendall?
I don't think our corners are terrible corners.
I
I think the scheme was so bad. And he went to USC
But-
and proved it. He is so
But
bad.
what
And
if-
now he's at UCF.
the
I have
scheme
no idea
was a
what
grade
Scott
of
Frost is
B,
thinking.
but the talent was C plus to B
Okay,
minus.
But Kendall Daniels, if he legitimately can take that cheetah spot, you're talking about Dolby, who is many regarded as the best player on the defense last year up to his injury, like the most important
was.
player on the team, as maybe a backup this year. If that's the case,
Maybe he's not. Maybe his injury slowed him down to where he can't be that guy.
Come
okay,
on,
maybe
come-
it's slowing down some, but I'm just saying, even with that, that is so far ahead of what we've been used to.
Yeah.
If Kendall Daniels is your third string replacement for a Gentry or an Eli Bowen,
You mean not Kellen Daniels?
or
Dolby.
Kendall Dolby, if Kendall Dolby
Yeah.
is your replacement for Bowen or Gentry Williams, that's insane for us.
Yes.
We're not talking about LSU or
Well,
something.
well,
That's a whole different
still,
Alabama.
still, we're nitpicking a defense that we're not talking about the question marks that we honestly have about receiver or tight end. We're talking about the difference between our defensive line
Doing great in the
and our
league.
defensive backs.
I'm trying to temper your expectations.
Oh my
At
God.
corner.
I'm telling you, the
I'm not
corners
talking
are
about
gonna
the
be
entire
solid.
defense.
You're never going to look at a game and
You
say
know-
we lost that game because of corner.
You know what a corner's best friend is?
Not a chance.
Safeties.
Nope.
The sideline.
Nope. D line.
D line. Yeah. Rushing the quarterback, putting him in a great position.
That's the
And there they are.
your corner's best friend is the D line that's putting so much damn heat on that quarterback. He doesn't even know what to do with the football.
The defense isn't the worry. The offense is the worry. We've got
Agreed.
positions that we know are great. We got positions that we think can be really good, offensive line, and we've got a lot of question marks. We've got receivers that need to catch the damn ball, run good routes, get open, help their quarterback out. He's not always going to have all the time in the world. They're going to have to be smart. Last year, we saw things that we didn't know exactly what the hell was going wrong, if it was the play call or what.
Needed a
We've got
quarterback.
we got Emmett Jones, highly touted, great recruiter. What can he do with guys X's and O's wise? Can he get guys to run the right routes and then to break free and do the things they need to do to help their quarterback out when the quarterback's scrambling? I don't want to see Mateer, look, run. I don't want him to be in the Jalen Hurts mode. That's not good. That's not healthy. I want him to be able to be in more of the Baker Mayfield role where he's like, I'm going to scramble until I find a guy, and all of a sudden here's a guy that comes open. If you remember how many times with a Joe Moore award-winning deep offensive line that Mayfield had to work with, that he still was doing this magnificent scrambling to wait and find a guy open, and there he goes and finds a guy. What we need is that, because that's what wins you championships. It's not, well, I'm going to look, and I'm going to run, and I'm going to pick up, basically we won the Alabama game with that. We don't want to win just the Alabama game. We want to win game after game after game, and that's going to take a guy at quarterback who has the chance to find the guys when the offensive line can make all their blocks, and when they can't, he can scramble, and the receivers are going to do what they need to do to get open, and he has trust and knows that guy's going to be there, and he throws the ball, and that happens for him. So that's what we need to have happen, and that's obviously partly on the quarterback, and it's partly on the receiver to be able to get into the right position. So what confidence do you guys have in the receiver?
Jay's been following more camp stuff on that.
I have confidence in the fact that we have a confident scheme. A competent scheme.
Competent or confident?
Both. But
Both
originally the word was supposed to be confident.
It's a con either way.
Yes. No, like we all talked about this and everybody saw it. And now that it's gone past us. The scheme last year was so infuriatingly bad and embarrassingly bad.
Ugh.
Like someone's head
Bad.
No creativity. It was like
roll.
It was like boring as could be with no creativity.
Yeah, and
no
the further we get away
production.
from it,
Yeah,
the
no
more
execution.
the more people are willing to say like, they could be blowing smoke, but they're like, yeah, we saw this coming. Like the offense last year, they couldn't even gauge Jackson Arnold because he couldn't even throw the football. Like he didn't even have time to throw the football, right? The O-line was so blown up that what can he do with it?
Now,
And then you compact that with injuries, right?
Yeah.
And you've got freshmen trying to get open in the SEC. Like it or not, that's not going to happen a whole lot of times. And it was just such a cluster that besides the scheme and the players and everything else, I think that Arbuckle is going to look a whole lot like Lincoln, where there's just plays where like, how did he scheme that guy that open? Like, how is this guy that wide open in any play against any SEC defense that there is?
I
hope
agree, and I have confidence
Because
and hope.
Georgia-
I have
because
hope in that.
First half of Georgia, right? We all know what happened in the second half. First half of Georgia, they were shell-shocked. Their fans were shell-shocked. I can't even imagine what the coaches were thinking on the sideline. Like, they put up 31 points against us. We're Georgia. And they were just blowing the doors off.
And their
of us.
quarterback is sick.
Yeah.
He's ill.
Like,
He has an illness.
they had no answer for anything we were doing.
So I think you're right. Now that's interesting because I'm the first one to say the scheme was awful. I blame Seth Littrell so much. But from what we're hearing about Auburn right now under Jackson Arnold, does that give a little bit of grace to the scheme and the coaches last year based on the fact that they're struggling again to get him in position to make plays? That as much raw talent as that guy has, he just can't put it together at this level, it seems like. It sounds like they're dumbing it down and doing that, which
Maybe Auburn's defense is really good.
maybe so. Or I go back to this weird mystery of
But
when we're
supposedly their
assigning.
offensive line is one of the best in the country, as is their wide receivers. So he doesn't currently have
Yeah,
the excuse that
Of-
we all
of-
tried to use
of all
early
the
this
injuries.
year.
Yeah. So I don't know what it is. It just like it's a combination of the two. I think as
Listen.
we look back, that might be the biggest miss in terms of a 5-star
If-
recruit that maybe in OU history.
If I was Seth Littrell's father, right, I would feel
That's Latrell's father?
yes, I would feel very, very upset that my son was the scapegoat for just a horrendous,
Yeah.
historically horrendous OU season. Because and to Seth Littrell's, benefit, or not his benefit,
His
but
credit.
his credit, he hasn't come out and said anything about OU
That's
or
correct.
Arnold or anybody else. But if you sat him down, I think he would tell you he took the sword.
That's
No.
probably true.
Because
Deserved a lot of it, but took the
because
sword at the
what-
same time.
Like, what can you do with an O line that can't block, a quarterback that can't process,
No receivers.
and receivers that can't get open? Like,
And no. Not just can't get open, can't catch the ball when
like-
they are
like,
open.
Like, what are you supposed to do?
An
Right.
incredible tight end that drops the ball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like really seriously though, like, son,
Yeah.
I'm, I love you, but like, I understand, like, there's nothing you can do. Shut your mouth, move on to the next job. Prove it here.
I
Whatever.
like the guy. I hope he has success. I want to see him redeemed. I do think that he
had to
had
go.
some critical issues. Yeah, I think he had to go. I think he was part
He
of the
absolutely
problem,
could not be
but he was
visible.
part of the
There's a
problem.
high
He
chance.
was not the problem.
There's a high chance it's a very small part of the problem.
When you look back at the John Blake years, so rewind the clock 25 years, and you look back at Joe Dickinson and the talent that he had, you say it was Joe Dickinson. It was 100% the offensive coordinator who couldn't get it together and didn't know what he was doing. This one was a combination of factors. Now, it might be 60, 40, 70, 30 offensive coordinator, but there's a lot on, and I'm discounting away injuries. It's a lot on players, and the injuries compound that and make it even worse for sure.
Yep, agreed. Because when Joe John took over, we got minutely better.
Yeah, for a flash.
But I don't know that
moment.
I don't
I
know.
mean,
that-
how many games do we win with Joe John as coordinator besides Alabama?
well, we played
Well,
better.
in the
We
the
played
past
better in
season.
Ole Miss. Ole Miss was the first one, right?
yeah, Ole Miss
We
was
played
we
better.
played better.
Better,
And-
but it wasn't. We weren't like,
We played better for a half.
yeah. We played.
We
better.
were competitive.
and in Bama, and we
We
lost
blew
to
Missouri. Blew that
Uh,
game. 'cause
Well,
offense-
but no, we blew the game because of Jackson Arnold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all things considered, Jackson Arnold lost
And
that
then
game.
LSU, we were in for a quarter and a half.
a half.
Right.
We were in for a half, right?
Now, who was Maine? We won Maine.
Which
we
was
did
sketchy,
beat Maine.
sketchy.
They're Bears. Bears are scary.
sure.
We beat the Bears.
Like I said, it was
And we lost to
marginally,
Navy.
marginally
Barely.
better.
We lost to Navy. A lot of players didn't play. I mean, come on. We didn't catch
I
one
was there. We
pass.
should have beaten Navy.
We didn't catch one pass. I mean,
I don't know. Ivan Carrion looked incredible. They just quit throwing the ball to him.
That's
I
true.
mean, so
Again, another player, a young
I
player.
haven't heard about him at all, Camp.
yeah, that's interesting.
I
That's
think
pretty
that's good.
interesting.
Do what?
I think that's good.
Hey, we haven't heard about
Yeah,
it.
I think it's good.
I don't know. I'd like to hear that he's just dominating his, routes with his size.
But I mean, if he's
Catching
not,
everything, that's
if
what I'm
he's
saying.
not, that means that somebody else is doing better than he is.
And they're
Well,
shutting him down. Yeah, that's probably true.
That's my point.
fair. I think that's fair.
I think if Carry On is your, seventh receiver, like, that's pretty good. I don't know.
So there's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of we can't figure this thing out yet. Obviously, we're
No, I'll
heading into
take-
the
okay,
season. Go
Sorry,
ahead.
there's one person I have not heard a single word of, and that's Reagan's. I haven't heard literally
It's like he's not on the team.
a one word of
Secret weapon.
that's it.
I thought Jacob Jordan was a secret weapon.
Jacob Jordan
They're
is.
both secret weapons.
Kearney though. Kearney was
We
the
have so
one-
many secret weapons.
Kearney was the one of the 4 freshmen last year that were pushed into a position to play before they were ready. Who
Didn't do
seems
anything.
like he's taking a step though.
Right. Well, a lot of unknowns, a lot of things we are going to learn as time goes on. So let me ask you guys, at the poll that we sent out this week, by what game will we know how good OU can be? The poll was, the choices were Michigan, Auburn, Texas. Do you have another one?
Illinois State, maybe?
That was it.
I
No,
don't know.
no. I think that was it. It was just was it just the 3? It was just the 3.
Okay.
So it was 16% that said it would be by Auburn. It was tied at 42% between Michigan and Texas. I went Michigan, you guys went Texas.
Mhm.
So I'm telling you, this is a bit of an optimistic prediction, but or maybe it's not. Maybe it's a
Can you
pessimistic
supplement the word?
prediction.
Optimistic with Homa?
Homer optimism or Homer pessimism. By Michigan, I'm telling you, we'll know where this team is headed. We'll know what we can do. We'll know what our general ceiling is by then. Obviously, by Texas,
By
I mean,
what-
if we've won all of our games and we beat Texas, of
I mean,
course.
which metric
we
are you-
know.
Which side of the, yeah, what side
If
of
we
the
beat
ball?
Michigan by 14,
Both.
you're like, this team's incredible.
No, I'm not saying this team is incredible. I'm saying how good can OU be? By Michigan, we'll have a clear understanding
even
of
know
how
anything
good
about
this
the
team
second
can be.
game.
I think we will. That's how good I think we'll be.
I thought
Or
after
how
the
bad
game
we'll
in
be.
22, we were going to be phenomenal, and we know how that season turned out.
So if I were to
we all
rerun that, if I were
agree.
to rerun that poll,
We all
Ben, I
agree
wouldn't have said Nebraska.
Nebraska wasn't a great team.
I wouldn't have said
We were
Nebraska.
expecting them to turn around under Frost,
Yeah,
and was that Rose first year?
no, that was Frost.
That was Frost. Or no, he got
They
fired.
had just
got
fired.
fired
They had
after.
just fired Frost.
He got fired after that.
No, he didn't. He got fired before that.
the game before.
Remember, they fired him before that, and the inside scoop is they fired him before that because Trev Alberts came out and fired him in front of donors.
Oh, so you have
basically,
to do it after the OU.
so that no matter what happened in the OU game, he was going to be fired because
then
they
we
didn't want him to
destroyed
beat
him.
OU, and we
And
destroyed him.
we all thought Dylan Gabriel's awesome.
But that
Jeff
wasn't the
Levy's
poll.
awesome.
If I had run that poll, I would have probably said TCU
Mm.
or Texas that year, and TCU and then Texas beat us. So I don't think Nebraska would have been the metric. Nebraska in 2022 is not Michigan in 2025, not by any stretch of the imagination.
I mean, what did Michigan go? They beat Ohio State, but what did Michigan go at?
They beat Alabama. in the bowl game.
9-3, and then they won the bowl game
They
against
beat Alabama.
Alabama.
Did they win that many
Yeah.
games?
Yeah,
Hmm.
I believe that's true. Yeah,
My only,
fact check me. Where's our stats guy?
the reason I didn't go with Michigan is because most likely they're gonna have a true freshman quarterback for this first road start.
Everybody has a true freshman.
No,
against
they
The number one quarterback in the country out of high school, though.
We've had all of those the last decade. It's hard to gauge. It's hard to gauge what that kid will be in game 2 versus game 10 at the end of the year. So
So if our offense
We
scores
good.
31 points
I
against
think.
Michigan,
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because Michigan's still regarded as like a top
then-
5
so
team.
that you are saying that would be a game that you use to gauge the rest of the season.
If the score is if it's
If we-
35
if we
to
beat
10,
Michigan 31-17, then what? You're saying, nope, we still don't know who the team is until Texas.
30,
That's what I'm saying.
31 to 17, maybe you can start to feel pretty optimistic about it.
Michigan was 8-5 last year.
Okay.
But
So 84 regular season,
if it's
right? Or no,
Yeah.
did they beat?
Eight.
You said they beat Bama?
they beat Ohio State to end the year and beat Bama in the bowl game.
Yeah, they got better and better and better.
So they were 7-5 regular season. That's not that far off from Nebraska 22,
They lost to Texas.
which they didn't go to a bowl game because Nebraska.
They lost to at Washington, at Illinois. Illinois was a pretty good team last year. They lost to Oregon, at Indiana, and then they won the rest of their games. They beat Ohio State and then they beat Alabama.
Look, if it's 31 to 3, then I think you can absolutely be like, you can get pretty excited about the football team. If it's 20 to 17,
You don't know.
we've got questions.
And I'm telling you, it's not going to be 21 to 17, or if it is, in context, you're going to say they're really strong. Like you're going to say, I can see where this team has the potential to be really, really good.
I'll be super happy with that victory, 20 to 17, whatever it is. But do I think we're national title contenders? No.
Yeah, and I didn't say that.
31-10, we're national title contenders.
Yes,
Michigan has the kind of defense, and they're gonna come in with a game plan of we're gonna run it down your throat. We're gonna shorten the football game. We're gonna rely on our defense that's really, really, really good still. I mean, they still have a top 5 defense in the country.
I don't think anybody's going to go into a game thinking they're going to run down a throat.
I think Michigan thinks
I
they're gonna.
don't think Michigan's that dumb because I think our defensive line and linebackers are too good
I think it's
to
all they've
think
got.
that you're going to run it down their throat.
But you can't.
Now the
you can't
quarterback
let
may end up with 120 rushing.
Yeah, you can't let your quarterback just throw it
on
40
Brandon,
times.
but I don't think they're going to run it down anybody's throat against us.
that's why I think we're going to know by that game how good we're going to be. Because if they can't do anything against us, I think we know we're going to be pretty damn good. Obviously, by Texas, we will know. So it's kind of an unfair poll in the sense that by Texas, for sure, we'll kind of know where we're going to be. That's
That's why I
mid-season,
chose it.
basically.
The
And that's
only
that's
reason-
a defensible
The
choice.
only reason I didn't choose Auburn isn't because of the rest of their football team. I think there's a consensus that their offensive line might be the best in the SEC. their wide receiver group might be the best in the country.
I
And
think
they've got a
LSU's
solid defense,
SEC.
right? But Arnold could just suck. So it's hard to tell if Arnold just sucks in that game and we beat him. How do you
No,
gauge
well,
that?
there's also the factor of Arnold coming back to OU to show us up,
Right.
and he puts so much pressure on himself that he has a really bad game. So Auburn, he may look good coming up to OU,
Right.
and then get here, and then he's just so high with adrenaline.
Or he could look
He's
like
overthrowing
trash.
everything. He's like second guessing himself like crazy.
Who do they
And
play
he
right
has a
before
back.
that?
He could look like trash and then have the opposite of that
Yeah,
and just absolutely light us up. Okay,
So-
first off, they start with Baylor, which
Yeah.
is a tough game.
That is a tough game. That
Um,
will be somewhat telling.
Who else does Auburn play?
probably a couple rum downs.
I feel like they've got. I think Baylor's the toughest game to start.
Auburn plays Baylor, Ball State, South Alabama.
Yeah.
We went through this actually last podcast, I think. I'm trying to pull it up and it's not pulling up for me.
Well, that's two rum downs.
Yeah. Internet. So as it's trying to pull up, and that's really frustrating. What if, let me paint this picture for you. OU beats Michigan 31-28, and Michigan has a meaningless touchdown right at the end that we are kind of like saying, what are you doing? Why did they do that? They called timeouts just so they could get a touchdown. They're clearly not going to win this game. We beat Auburn decisively. We're going in, obviously we beat Kent State. We're going into Texas. Does it matter at that point what happens against Texas? Or do we not know how good we're going to be at that? Or do we have to play Texas to really determine how good we're going to be?
Texas preseason #1.
For
If
what it's worth,
if
right?
if they win at Ohio State and Texas is where they're at, there's no other gauge.
So they play
You win that game and you're vaulted to the top.
after South Alabama.
What do you mean?
Oh,
They're
then they
already-
play us after
No,
that, and then they play. So they're easily undefeated playing us. Then
If they
play
beat Ohio State.
A&M. No, I'm talking about Alabama. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Yeah. Now
mean Auburn?
Texas.
if Texas beats Ohio, no.
Yeah.
Here's the deal: they play Florida the week before us.
Yeah, that's really tough.
So if Texas gets past Ohio State, at Ohio State, and at Florida, correct?
All right.
Right?
Yes.
And we can somehow beat Texas, we are absolutely the hunted. after
Oh,
that, from that moment.
no doubt about it. Well, I think in that point, like, let's back in my scenario, you're still, all of us are still kind of questioning how good we can be. Like how, like,
I think 20+ points defensively against Michigan
no, I'm
it's too
saying,
many.
I'm,
for me.
well, probably so. Yeah, that's probably true. So let's say 31-17. And let's say it's a last minute or a late touchdown that we don't think is that great for Oklahoma. And so you're like, okay, we decisively beat Michigan. We knew by halftime we are ahead of this game. We can win this game, and we do. We beat Alabama. We're undefeated going into Texas. They're undefeated. The talk of the nation is going to be, this is the game. We still will be unproven in everybody's eyes, and probably in our own. That will be the determining how good can we act, how good are we really.
That's why I voted it.
And so that's, to support that vote, that would be we're gonna beat Michigan 31-0.
If they lose on the road week 1, Arch Manning's first real start at Ohio State, defending national champs.
And they're 2.5 point underdog right now.
Yeah, that's a tough game. That's a very tough game.
That's
for 'em.
I mean, I'm picking Ohio State to win that game right now.
Yeah, not want, but you're gonna pick
That's
it.
an acceptable.
You want, and you're gonna pick
That's a quote.
Yeah, always want that-
acceptable game to lose.
right, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely all you want to be, really, honestly, is respectable.
Yeah.
In that game, which could work against them. Like if you want to pick a money line game, that might be the money line
Well,
pick.
actually, Ohio State.
They lost a lot.
Oh, offensive coordinator,
Defensive coordinator,
starting quarterback, 2 starting running backs, 1 or 2
I mean,
receivers,
the starting quarterback was
other people on defense. But they haven't even named him, right?
For what it's worth, they lost him and they haven't named
They
it.
haven't named
They
him.
have not named the guy.
Still, it's still up in the air. Give it, for whatever it's worth, Texas has their quarterback.
If if anyone is set up to be an OU of 2005, it's Ohio State. That's the kind of team they're in. They've lost a lot. They've lost a lot of their talent, and they've lost their coordinators. So that's a lot of things to get together for a starting game that, as much as I think, and I think you guys think Texas is overrated, that's still a really tough game. That's number one against number one, right? That's a hell of a matchup. So they themselves have a lot to prove. Going in, having a home game, that's almost a negative for them. Texas has a lot to win, not a lot to lose. Ohio State's kind of the other way with that. They're supposed to win that game. They're favored for a reason. They're at home. That's going to be a disappointment to everybody Ohio State related.
Is it under
if
3?
they lose?
2.5.
So that's really a Texas win, right?
What is?
Yeah, Ohio State probably.
It's a
gets
three.
or
It's a
4
three.
point
It's a
field
3-point
advantage.
home field advantage. Right?
Probably.
Oh, if it's at least. Ohio State probably is more of an advantage than that. I don't know. That's going to be a hell of a crowd to be going. Like, if you're Arch Manning,
I was
that's
there when
not
I beat
a
them last
fun.
time.
Same.
Yeah, that's not a fun crowd to be going against, though. I mean, honestly, don't take anything away from Baker and
Noon
what he
kickoff.
did. That's tough.
Texas got a noon kickoff for that.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
11.
that's
Yeah.
sweet.
Big
Central
noon.
time.
Big noon.
Big
kickoff.
noon, sweet. That's very helpful for
Yeah,
Texas.
I agree.
God, man, that's a difference
That's what
maker right
Texas
there.
needs is help with the schedule.
Right, exactly, because they got it so tough. Kind of ridiculous. So we're focusing on the front end of OU schedule. We're not really focusing on the back end of the schedule. How concerned are you? I mean, I guess by the back end, we kind of know where we're headed. But to be honest, that could be the crunch time of if we're in the
It's
hunt,
100% crunch.
we're make or break the playoff, make or break respect, make or break Brent Venables' job in the back half of the season. What do you guys think about that?
It's an insane back half of the season. That's why 5-0 is so crucial.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to go 5-0 headed into Texas because the rest of the season is
Well,
A lot of losable games.
that's why a
they're
lot of
all
people,
every game is losable.
that's why a lot of people are saying
Missouri should not be a losable
you got
game.
4 layups there.
But it is
And
losable.
3 layups in a very winnable game against Auburn. You need to be 4-0. So if you're 4-0, is what is the make or break record for Brent Venables? It's probably higher than it otherwise would be, even though the schedule is so tough, because you've already chalked up 3.5 wins for sure before you've even faced Texas.
I mean, you've got to.
I mean, we should be 5-0 when we get to Texas.
Right. You should be.
You
5-0.
should be 5-0. Yes. I mean, you should be, except that Michigan game. What do you think the Michigan line is going to be? 6, 5? And that's
Well, it
not,
depends what we look.
that's
at,
not
right?
a lock, by
Yeah.
any means. But still, yeah. So if you're 5-0, if you're evaluating Venables, let's say that you make the decision to have him keep his job or not, and you're looking out for the best of what's for OU's program.
Which he is.
And he is the decider.
No, he's gonna keep his job.
No, well, yes, that's this, but because we win the national title. But so you win 5 games. We're going into Texas. What is the schedule? What is the win-loss record that needs to happen from there on out to keep your job? Because you've done what you're supposed to do. You've only won the games you're favored in. Now you're going against Texas, where you're not going to be a favorite. We're assuming
Like 3 and 4. Get
Probably
you, gotta get you
50-50
8 and 4.
-ish.
8-4. So you're
Yeah.
8-4 to keep your job.
Yeah, 50-50-ish.
8-4 to keep your job. 7-5, and you lose your job.
Yes.
Whew. With that schedule. But I think you might be right.
And it's just how does
Yeah,
it
you go
look?
2 and 5 to finish the season.
But are your 5 losses by 12 combined points? I don't know. Yeah,
That means you can't get it done.
And how many of those teams got to the playoff in that scenario, right? I mean, you may be talking about multiple playoff teams. I don't know.
okay, if
It's a hard line.
let's
If
just
you
say,
don't go 8 and 4, no matter the circumstances,
Okay.
you lose your quarterback, you lose 10 receivers.
what if last
You go
year?
8 and
No,
4.
no, no,
I
no,
mean,
no,
you go
no,
7 and
no,
5,
no,
you're
no,
done.
no, no.
What if
You
last
lose
year,
Mateer, you lose multiple people
you
at
lose
key
Jaden Allen,
positions.
you lose
You lose
Jaden
defensive guys. You
Jackson.
lose David
Yeah.
Stone. you're telling me that you're gonna
If
say
you're
that
gonna have an
7-5?
entire team full of third stringers and you go 7-5, you're still gone in my book.
No, wow, that's
Because your
harsh.
overall record at OU over a 4-year span is 500, and that's a joke.
But you don't take
I don't care what
you
the
don't take the
circumstances are.
bullshit SEC schedule that they gave us for 2 seasons.
It is bullshit, but you have to overcome it.
You have to? Why? Why do you have to? How do you have to?
Because if you don't go
But
8-4
Sark
better,
gets to coast.
you're
Yeah.
fired no matter what.
Sark just gets to coast.
I mean, literally,
talking about
what if they put
they've had their schedule compared to ours is nothing.
what if they put the
That doesn't have
NFC,
anything to do with
No.
Brent Venables.
what if they put the NFC East as our back half of our schedule and we weren't able to win? You're gonna say 7-5
Yes.
isn't enough? Wow. That's tough. That's pretty
That's the
tough.
hard line.
That's the hard line for
If
you.
you don't win
based
8
on
games,
based on 2 out of 3 losing seasons.
if you don't, no, it'd be 3 out of 4.
Well, yeah. I'm saying with the prior 2
3 out of 4 losing seasons at this university, you don't get to keep your job. That's John Blake.
No, it's not, because John Blake didn't face a schedule anywhere close to this in any one of his seasons. Not even close.
That doesn't make a difference to me.
It's got to
You-
make
you
a
can only play the
difference.
teams on your schedule.
But it's got to make a difference.
But like I feel
It doesn't.
as an outsider,
Why not?
as an outsider, obviously a non-Florida fan, right? By all accounts, they've got a lot of talent on the football team. Maybe the next first round draft pick at quarterback.
I don't think Napier's a great coach.
No, but they
If
might.
they don't go 8-4 this year, I'd fire him too.
But I don't know.
And they have a tougher schedule than we do.
But but that's the thing. I don't know that he does get fired.
I don't think so either.
What if next year's schedule comes out and it's just as hard as this year's
But
schedule?
I don't
Like,
think
Brent
anyone-
Venables the guy?
I don't think
No, because he just lost 3 out of 4 years in a row with 2 of them were in the damn
You
Big
can't
12.
look at the schedule and decide if you're going to keep a coach because it's easy or hard.
I think most people
You just
do.
said you have to factor in the schedule.
Exactly, you do.
No,
but
you don't.
you're saying no matter
You
what the
factor
schedule,
your head coach about wins and losses.
partially, but they've got to be in
If
context.
Mateer and Hawkins go down and you're starting whoever the hell the third string would be,
Yeah.
and your defense still can't win you games
Oh, against this schedule.
against
would
this
expect-
schedule.
If both of
Y'all
those
about
guys
said
went
we've
down.
got a top 5 defense in the country
All right,
possibly.
let's say in Texas,
That should mean you're not
we're
giving up more than 20
let's say
points. to
both of
these
those
other schools.
quarterbacks are done. Let's say that we are 4-1 and both of those
and Jet-
quarterbacks are done.
Jet News playing.
Can
and-
Braden Willis,
yeah.
Willis come in and play quarterback?
No, back to my scenario. If
Oh,
we
yeah,
are
can't.
4-1,
Can't quarterback.
we're 4-1 and both of those quarterbacks are done going into Texas. Are you telling me that you're not going to give some grace to whatever that schedule is
Nope.
in that outcome? He has to win another 4 games to keep his
You got-
job.
well, first of all, you got to be 5-0 going into Texas.
Oh, you have to be 5-0 to keep your job?
No, I'm saying
No, you're 4-1
why
because
would you? So you lost to Michigan.
you lost to Michigan when Mateer went down. Hawkins came in and won the rest of the games, and you're 4-1.
Okay.
But Hawkins went down at the end of the Kent State game with an ACL.
Okay.
And so now you're with your backup quarterback going into Texas,
Third string.
backup third string quarterback. You're going to tell me you're going to make him win 4 more games to keep his job?
Absolutely.
No way.
Absolutely.
No way.
But that's I know doesn't have the hardware that Belichick does, but that's like judging Belichick on Brady going down and they didn't win the Super Bowl. And then
Yeah, that
next
year that he
Brady
blew
goes
his
down.
ACL
They don't
out,
win the
yeah.
Super Bowl. Like, I'll get Belichick out of here. I don't know.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Belichick didn't have three out of 4 losing seasons.
But he would if he didn't have.
No, because they brought in the dude, whoever the dude came in from Brady, and guy lit it up and got a job in Seattle or wherever the hell he went.
So I don't know. That seems really harsh to me. Asteroid hits and these guys go down, and you're saying 8-4 is your hard line in the sand. It's got to be 8-4.
Most definitely.
Okay, I guess this is our argument. Even as bad as we were last year, do we have 2 more wins if we had Texas scheduled?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So would Brent Venables
we
be on
did-
the hot seat this year?
No.
No. So Sark just gets a pass. You're just giving the Texas coach a pass for the SEC, giving him 2 cush.
Yeah,
welcome
that's a
to
good
SEC
that's a good
schedule.
question. How harsh should we be on Sark? He's not going to get fired, but how hot is the hot seat if they don't produce this year? They only got to the second round.
Yeah, what if they get
Or
none?
they only
If
won the
Alex Manning
second
goes
round.
down and Texas goes 7-5, Sark's still not on the hot seat. They went to the playoff 2 years in a row.
You can't let it, but they went to the playoff with an easy schedule 2 years in a row. And just
Well, they went to a 14 playoff 2 years ago
In the Big
and
12.
right
won the Big
in the
12.
Big 12
and won the Big 12.
They beat
against
Oklahoma
a team
State.
that they shouldn't have been playing. Yes, and they did again against a weak schedule. And then they go the next year and play a weak schedule. And the only quality win they have is the game one in the playoff against Clemson. Then the refs win them a game against Arizona State, and then they rightfully lose the next game. I don't know how happy, if you're really in your heart of hearts or mind of minds, can look at as a Texas fan and say, yeah, this is everything's on the right track and this is where we want to be. You got to be pretty frustrated or pretty worried about that.
He's basically on the Lincoln Riley path right now.
Yeah.
Oh, great, you got there. No, I didn't win anything. Okay.
I just don't want
to
to.
win anything.
I kind of.
I'm telling you, that's my number.
It's not a bad
If
number.
he goes 7-5, especially after starting 4-1, if you finish the season 3
If we are healthy, I'll agree. I'll agree. If you're 4-1
Yeah,
and everyone's healthy and they can't finish it out,
absolutely.
that's fine.
In fact,
Your scenario with the third string quarterback starting,
I would say if they're
you're just gonna keep every year. Oh, well, he had injuries. So
third string quarterback, yeah.
okay, I'll put it this way, and here's a different scenario. We lose to Michigan on a last second field goal with whatever, throw in some controversy, throw in some, well, we should have won, could have won. We
Did
were
we
really
recover
close.
the onside
We're in
kick?
the game, whatever.
and they give it to Michigan.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And we're 4-1 going into Texas. We're totally healthy. 8-4 is probably not my number. Maybe 9-3 is my number of what we need to be for him to keep his job at that point. So
You're already 4-1, and you're saying 9-3 is barely keeping his job.
yeah, I'm saying if everybody's healthy,
Healthy.
yeah, because again, like I'm going to give him benefit if they're not healthy and they've got a tough schedule. I'm not going to give him a lot of benefit if they're healthy. I want to see production. I want to see success. I want to see a playoff run. And even more so if they're 5-1 through Texas, and don't tell me which one they lost. Obviously, don't lose to Kent State, but don't tell me which one they lost. They need to win a lot of games.
What is
it'd be on
Venables'
playoff.
overall record now? He went 6-7, 10-3,
Yeah,
6-7.
yeah.
Okay, so he's
16
got
and 10, 20, 24 and 17.
6-10. That's
24 and
22.
17? Was that?
22 and 14.
No.
22 and 17.
Yeah, 22 and 17.
22 and 17, and then he goes 7-5 this year.
No, that's
He's fired. Fired.
Maybe.
No, maybe.
Maybe
got a new
because
athletic
of
director coming in.
circumstances.
He's gonna want to bring his own guy. There's no way a new athletic director comes in and says, Brent,
I'm not
you
gonna.
realize you had a bunch
no.
of injuries last year, but your overall record is
I'm not gonna look at his
20
overall record, including that first year in Canada.
29 and 22.
That first year.
I
Come
think we're
on.
having a hard time transitioning where the sport's going, in my opinion. I think an NFL coach with injuries absolutely keeps his job. I don't think GMs hold major injuries against head coaches
Especially
in the NFL,
performance 3 years ago.
right?
You've got to discount 3 years ago.
No, the reason the Giants get rid of their staff is because you had Daniel, you had Saquon Barkley, you had these people, and you couldn't get it done. If the Giants start off the season last year and didn't have, or 2 years ago, and they both got hurt the first game, I was like, well, what do you want me to do? Like my hands are tied here. My starters are down, they're out. It's so crucial and it's so balanced now, right? The leagues talent wise are so balanced compared to what it used to be. I agree. If we were in the Big 12 and you told me that we went 7-5 this season in the Big 12,
Oh,
I don't care who we had at quarterback. Agreed. Get the F out of here. That's absurd.
Yep. Yeah.
Absurd.
yeah.
But you have to look at who you're playing and who you had playing in those games.
I'm giving
why I
him
think-
leniency for last year.
That's why I think a
I
9
would
and
have fired him last year if we had a healthy team the whole season and went 7-5. I would have been done with him then because he did a horrible job at hiring an offensive coordinator.
Agreed.
both times, because I
Agree.
still don't think Levy was worth the shit.
Agree.
And I definitely don't think Seth Luttrell's worth the shit now. So if he goes 7-5, or we'll get 6-7 last year, but if we were healthy the whole season and went 7-5, I would have fired him this year.
I just don't think we would have gone that last year with healthy.
Yeah, but
That's the thing.
I would agree with that. If we were 7-5, I probably would.
And we
Would
weren't.
agree.
We were 6-7.
But with
But I mean-
injuries,
But I mean, with all the
With
O-line healthy and
wide
Anderson
receiver.
healthy and Burks healthy and I don't
I don't
think we
know.
would have gone that record though.
maybe this is wrong, but at this point,
Did we have any major defensive injuries
I'm
besides
willing,
Gentry?
but I'm willing to
And don't.
say, those are
That's
pretty
two
big.
ones. I mean,
Well, every team can say they lost 2 guys. I guarantee you go down college football.
I bet
of the
No, we
top
had
15
one other
if you look at the
incident.
top 15
We had
teams,
guys
I
that missed
guarantee
time.
you They had 2 guys that were out
yeah,
for the
but
season on the
nobody
starting
missed their
defense.
entire offensive line and wide receiver core.
So I would say, I look at it as, and I don't think you're gonna like this, almost as a reset to this year. And you discount a lot of what's happened.
You're right. I'm not gonna like that. It's stupid.
You discount away what's happened and you look a fresh start.
I think last year's
Where are
complete
we headed?
albatross.
Yeah, it's an aberration.
Well, he's
It's
trying
weird.
to explain away the first year too, because he came in with Lincoln's play.
It was decimated. There were
It was decimated.
the whole lineup. It was horrible. The talent pool was done. I'm saying you gotta evaluate where you're headed, and this is gonna be a better perspective on where you're headed. And you might have a 7-5 season that says we're headed in the right direction. But I do find that
A
unlikely.
healthy 7-5 season, no. Get
No.
the F out.
Yeah. An injured 8-4, and it's really questionable. He's again on the hot seat.
Mhm.
9-3, he's a lock, and should be a lock to keep his job.
If he goes 9-3, I'm not calling for him to be fired.
Okay,
Well, how
If he
good
goes
because
8-4,
we're
let me
in the
ask
playoffs.
this.
If he goes 8-4,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
In
saying
the playoffs.
So let's say we're 9
would have been last year 9-3.
Yeah, this year we
This year,
will.
like
Yeah.
Alabama, Ole Miss,
Our
Miami,
schedule-
all 9-3 teams.
Okay.
Our schedule this year
Tennessee.
will be us or Florida,
Tennessee
9-3.
got in
we're in the
South
playoffs.
Carolina. didn't
Agreed.
they?
So if we're 9-3, we go and lose the first game of the playoffs, and so we're 9-4. Do you think he's on the hot seat next year?
Yes.
I think he probably is, but less on the hot seat than he is this year.
Yes, I agree.
OU or Florida, 9-3.
In the
gets in the
playoffs. I like that so much I would bet on it. And I would Venmo you the money and say
Sports gambling.
sports gambling on the either or. Absolutely. I would say 9-3
They're too
makes the
difficult.
playoff.
They're
Make a bet. I'd do it.
they're comically difficult, actually. Like I listen to a lot of national podcasts.
Don't brag.
I got a lot of free time. Everyone jokingly laughs because it's not their team,
Right.
right? Like just how absurd
The lineup is.
their schedule.
It's crazy.
It's absolutely absurd. Now, some teams are going to be better than they're shown and worse than they are preseason
Sure.
ranking. But in general, for Florida and OU to have 8 and 9 preseason top 25 football games is you have to go back. I don't know if it's even
Can you
happening.
find it? I don't think you can find it. So I'll give you another scenario.
Now, does it end up
Totally
being
different.
6? Does it end up being 7? Maybe, right?
I'll give you a different one.
Even then, that's insane.
We go 10-2. And how many first year starters do we play at quarterback? Like 6 or 7?
7 if you count Arch.
Okay, let's call that a starter. First time starter. 7. So is there a scenario where we're 10-2 and you're disappointed? Keeping in mind we were 10-2 with Lincoln Riley, 9-0, and we were disappointed, and you in particular were disappointed in that season. Do you think there's a season? Is there a scenario where we're 10-2 and you're disappointed?
I mean, I'm always disappointed losing a game.
Right.
I
Right.
say no. 10-2, you're locked for playoff.
I think in today's college football,
In a 12-team playoff, you're locked.
when you go 10-2, you're definitely making the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And if you're in the 12 teams, and even if you lose the first round, you're like, we had a really good season to go 10-2 and lose the first round of the playoffs. But I would expect to see better moving forward.
So
When you start regressing is when I start want to get rid of coaches.
here's how optimistic I am. I think we're going to be 10-2, and we're going to look back and worry that we didn't have it as tough as we actually had it. And we're going to look back and say, well, actually, if you look at those quarterbacks and you look at those teams, that schedule did not pan out. They were not that good. We were able to, we caught them on the right time,
I do
especially
think
the early ones.
teams on the right time, irregardless of the schedule.
So I think there's a chance that we're really good schedule wise, and we need to look at it and say, I don't know. And I'll be the first one not to be doing this. I'll be telling you how great a 10-3 Oklahoma was losing in the first round of the playoffs. But to be honest, it's kind of like back in that season when we played, was it 6 straight first time or second string quarterbacks, and we were just dominant, and then
That was the same year we scored
60 points a
60
game.
points for 5 games or whatever.
And you start to say,
Oh, no, that was Baker's year.
No, that wasn't.
That was Baker's first year.
yeah, yeah,
No, it was Baker's first
Yeah.
year we lost to Clemson. in
yeah,
the playoffs.
yeah. And
We played
did not
backups
look
at
good.
Baylor, backs up at Oklahoma
Yeah.
State, and backs up.
And so there's a chance that we're in that position where we were ascendant, and we got a lot better, and the only thing that didn't get better was the defense, and had the defense gotten better, we'd be national champions. But there's a chance that we're in that world, that we're really good schedule wise, but we look back in honesty and say, you know what? It wasn't nearly as tough as we thought it was
All
going
right, so
to
you
be.
get a first year starter at Michigan, right? You technically have a first year starter at Auburn.
No. Well, it's not a first year starter.
Well,
I
first
think
year
it
starter at
is.
He
Auburn.
started like 9 games last year. That's not a first year.
You
starter.
call that experience?
Okay, well, let's
You
not
can't
count.
count Jackson
Let's not
as a
count.
first year
Okay,
starter.
Michigan. We'll count Michigan.
Yes.
Texas.
Okay, I'll give you
Okay. Who's after Texas?
Is that Alabama or is that no?
South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Okay, South Carolina's not. Okay, Alabama is.
Yep.
That's a new quarterback.
Ole Miss.
Tennessee.
Ole Miss is.
Yeah.
He is.
Tennessee's not a new starter either. He's a transfer. He's new to
Okay,
Tennessee.
well,
but he's not a
take him out
starter.
then.
All right, so that's 4.
Missouri.
Missouri's new. That's 5.
LSU.
LSU's not.
Not.
So 5.
So really 5 legit
First time
first
starters.
year Division I big league starters. 5.
That's a tough schedule still. That's a real tough schedule. Well, we've got a lot to hash out. We're going to talk about that. We're going to have predictions coming up. We're going to have Connor back, hopefully, if he can get off the beach in Miami. I don't know. I mean, this guy, he's just like sipping Mai Tais and just dancing. He sends us these videos where he's partying.
I
don't
mean,
know.
when you get recruited by ICE, I guess that's where they send you.
Exactly. It's like, wow, tell you what, this guy. But we'll be back with predictions for the playoffs. We'll have over-unders for teams, and we're going to have a lot of predictions for the Sooners. A lot to cover coming up. Anything else, guys, to cover before we... Anything else to cover?
That's it.
All right. Well, we'll be back next time. Boomer?
Sooner.